And according to Suzuki, late Zen teacher who introduced the Zen Buddhism to Western world, he gave a talk in France, in Paris, and said, prajna, wisdom, karuna, passion are two aspects of one and the same Buddha nature. So if you take wisdom and compassion away from the Buddha, then no Buddha remains. And today, we need both wisdom and compassion. Government should be compassionate. If the government is not compassionate, then they only think of those people who are already very rich and they don't care about the poor people. And there are, today, I forgot the exact numbers, like 1.5 million American people homeless. And now more than 1.5 million, 2 million are in jail. That means more than one out of the whole American population is either in jail or homeless. In the most powerful, the richest country in the whole world. And it's a shame. That should be corrected. Now, personally, I mean everybody, you may ask, what kind of angel man should I create? According to those existentialist philosophers, there is no essence you are born with. You are thrown to the world with no essence. And you create your own essence by planning your life and carrying those plans out. There's no other essence of yourself. So your essence is defined by what you think, what you say, and what you do. So you can see everybody somehow develops and creates their own image. You know, like Paul Newman, who just passed away. I thought he was some kind of a selfish person or something, but I was stunned to know he gave $270 million to charity. $270 million. And that defines Paul Newman's essence. See? And you can think of all those politicians. They create their own essence. You see? And actually, the existentialist philosophers say that if there is no God, the atheistic existentialist, if there is no God, then there is at least one existence in which existence precedes essence. Or what could they mean? Think of a paper cutter or a penknife. In the case of a penknife or a paper cutter, its essence precedes its existence. Are you following? Like what? The maker of the paper cutter or a penknife already has the essence of a penknife or the paper cutter in his mind. And then, according to the essence he has, he creates, bring into existence of the penknife. So in the case of a penknife or paper cutter, essence precedes existence. You follow me, don't you? In the case of man, if there is God, of course then the essence of man could be determined by God. But if there is no God, then human beings are thrown to the world with no essence. Then you are responsible to create your own essence. And when you create the essence of yourself or image of man, you ought to create the image of man which everybody ought to be. So this atheistic existentialism gives hope and dignity to human beings. Now, I said, what is the ideal image of man or humankind in WonBuddhism? What did I say? A man of perfect enlightenment, and a man who is aware of beneficence and requital of the beneficence. Think of a fish in the water. Can fish exist without water? It cannot. So Jewish philosophers, Niebuhr, I think he's a Jewish philosopher, said, used the word in a shorter Oxford dictionary of English dictionary, unquote, universal beneficence of nature. Universal beneficence of nature. What does that mean? To the fish, seawater is the universal beneficence without which it cannot live, right? In WonBuddhism, we are taught that there are four such beneficences, fourfold beneficence. And what are they? Heaven and earth. In this case, heaven means rather natural heaven, nature. And nobody will deny that you cannot exist without air you breathe, and water you drink, and earth you stand on. Just like a fish in the water. We owe our whole being to heaven and earth. Heaven includes the sun too. Can you imagine whether we could exist without the sun? We can live without certain God, but we cannot live without the sun. You agree? You know what happens if the sun disappears? So there is universal beneficence of heaven and earth. And the next is the beneficence of parents. Many people these days are going crazy, and then they think they can be and exist without their parents. Sometimes they argue, I didn't ask you to give me birth to me. Something like that. You know, they're stupid. So we owe a lot. Remember when you were a baby, for 3 years, under the knee of your mother. And you know, mother's love is such that she would die, if necessary, 100 times, if that's the only way to save her own child. That's the nature of mother's love. I said the Buddha has two main characteristics. One is wisdom, the other one, compassion, karuna. Now, the quality-wise, mother's love and Buddha's compassion are identical, the same. And what's the difference between the Buddha's compassion and the mother's love? Mother's love, quality-wise, the same, but her love limits to her own child. Buddha's love extends to all sentient beings. She is crying all the time to see all the sentient beings suffering in the world. Got it? So, we all, of course, we must recognize our indebtedness to our parents. Third,